fan because I called his coming out fight against Bradis Prescott.
He's special.
And then various other stepping stones throughout his career.
I also think he's one of those guys that if you tell him he can't do something, he wants to show you and shock the world.
1,000%. Absolutely right.
I also think Canelo is slowing down.
I didn't give Canelo more than like 3 rounds.
Yeah.
Maybe 4 if I'm just being generous.
You know, becoming the first undisputed world champion in the 4-belt era in 3 different weight classes. Really, and the way he did it, and you know, the class that he showed.
Joe Rogan reacts to Terence Crawford's stunning win over Canelo Alvarez, emphasizing how Crawford thrives when people doubt him, using their disbelief as fuel to prove himself on the biggest stage. Rogan highlights Crawford's slick movements and razor-sharp precision that not only showcased his power, but also established him as one of the most complete fighters in boxing today. He notes that this victory elevates Crawford's standing in the sport, sparking bold claims like Bont Hill's tweet saying he now believes Crawford could defeat any version of Floyd Mayweather. Such statements reveal how highly regarded Crawford's performance has become, as beating Canelo has taken his legacy to heights that make many wonder if he can even surpass the undefeated Mayweather. His dominance across multiple weight classes and his adaptability inside the ring are now undeniable proof of why this conversation is gaining so much momentum.
Get ready to subscribe totally to that because, again, you're talking about somebody who is stubborn.
And sure.
Who wants to prove everything he can prove.
100%. I agree with that too. But I think there's in boxing and certainly in MMA, there's a certain amount of years where a fighter can keep the RPMs up. And, you know, when they're in the red line, and there's some people subscribe to the idea of 9 years. There's 9 years is the most that a elite fighter in MMA has performed at their prime. I think that's a bullshit number because I think it's entirely dependent upon lifestyle, nutrition, discipline, physical attributes. There's a lot of factors.
George Foreman won the heavyweight championship of the world in boxing at age 45.
True, but he took 10 years off.
Yeah.
Gareth, speaking as a commentator, praised Terence Crawford for delivering one of the greatest performances ever seen in boxing, noting that he moved up 3 weight classes, stepped into the ring older than Canelo, and returned after more than a year away, yet still displayed unmatched mastery, skill, and calm under pressure. He emphasized that this was a once-in-a-lifetime display of greatness, proving Crawford's ability to rise above every challenge and surpass all expectations. Meanwhile, Shakur Stevenson took to X to give respect to Canelo, pointing out that too many fighters in the sport shy away from facing true champions. But Canelo showed real courage by putting everything on the line, calling him a legend for his willingness to take risks. Stevenson's words reminded fans that greatness is not only measured by victories, but also by the bravery to face the toughest challenges without fear.
Throughout the course of the week, we said that this is a game of IQ. There's going to be movement within the fight. You're going to have to answer different types of questions and bring different types of game plan. Crawford did that. He was able to do it backwards, he was able to do it forwards, he could trade in the pocket, catch the stuff, and then counter. He was absolutely magnificent. Listen, I know this is raw and we've only just walked out the stadium, right?
10 minutes ago.
And when the dust settles on this, we'll probably have better answers and better thought processes. And I'm sure people watching this will get stuck into the comments and maybe say what I'm about to say is quite outlandish. That might be the single best performance that I have ever witnessed live. It was absolutely tremendous. You've got to take into consideration the weight jump. This is a man that was champion at 135, 140, 147, and obviously recently at 154. But let's be honest, he even jumped up to 154 pounds for that. To go then up to 168 and take on the former pound for pound #1 king on a Mexican holiday weekend in Las Vegas and managed to beat him on the cards when the judges tried to do him, mate. It is out of this world what Terence Crawford just did, and he needs all the flowers in the world, he needs all the praise in the world, and I don't think you're wrong, mate, by saying he's the pound for pound #1. It's an ever-moving list. That performance alone deserves to put him right at the top of the
He's become. There's an argument that he becomes an all-time great with that performance, like you say, because the majesty, the poise, the presence all week, the pinpoint accuracy of everything he did in there, to the fact that in the end Canelo was frustrated and knew he couldn't do anything to Crawford, and he started
visibly frustrated, wasn't it?
No, visibly frustrated that he started to do a weird kind of showboating because he didn't have any answers for what was happening and unfolding in front of him. I think Terence Crawford has rubber-stamped himself as an all-time great tonight, and I want to revise a view on him. I wondered whether he would have been capable of beating Floyd Mayweather at welterweight.
Oh, you're going for it now, aren't you?
And I think, yeah, we got to. I think he may well have done.
Paulie Malignaggi emphasized that Crawford's accomplishment was nothing short of historic, pointing out that becoming an undisputed champion across 4 weight divisions is an achievement rarely seen, and the way he did it against Canelo made it even more remarkable. He compared Crawford's dominance to the reign of Floyd Mayweather in his own era, declaring that this moment marks the beginning of Crawford's era. For Malignaggi, the victory was far more than just another win. It represented a true shift in power, solidifying Crawford as the defining fighter of this generation.
Flawless. I mean, Terence Crawford has had an amazing career against a lot of very good fighters and world-class fighters, and honestly has barely lost a round. When you look back at Bud Crawford's career, there is something really special. It's one of those things now, because now I've now seen back-to-back generations of Floyd Mayweather and Bud Crawford, and man, you know, it's one of those things where now I understand why the people that lived in the Ray Leonard era say, you know, oh, wish we could see Ray Leonard against Mayweather, and how that would be. Because it just leaves such an empty feeling when you have such special fighters that were in different generations, and you saw both of them. You know, I saw the entirety of the Mayweather generation. I saw the entirety of the Bud Crawford generation. Just incredible. Really, really incredible. And I know Mayweather gets a lot of hate, but for me, he's a tremendous fighter. And Terence Bud Crawford is in that realm as well. And it's a fight we'll never get to see. So what are we going to do, you know? It'll be up to the fantasy fights, you know. But let's get into it, man. I want to get into the undercard as well and some of my thoughts on the Netflix show. But let's get into the main event first. Crawford really boxed very, very well, very, very intelligently. The question mark was what happens when Crawford gets hit cleanly. I'm not sure he got hit cleanly at the whole fight. You know, he got hit with some partial shots. Some shots landed cleanly, but by the time Canelo started landing anything cleanly, I think he was hesitant because he was getting countered so much that he was taking some of the steam off the shots in order to hope to be more accurate. Because even late in the fight, there were a couple of shots that Canelo landed, but they barely moved.
Devin Haney's sharp reaction captured the essence of Crawford's dominance, as he dismissed the notion that Canelo ever had control of the fight, admitting he could barely give him 3 or 4 rounds at most. His words served both as a blunt assessment and an indirect challenge, reinforcing how one-sided Crawford's victory appeared and signaling that even among the sport's top young champions, Canelo is no longer seen as the untouchable force he once was.
How'd you score it, Devin?
I wasn't scoring. I didn't give Canelo more than like 3 rounds.
Yeah?
Maybe 4 if I'm just being generous.
Can't get away from this
Maybe
fucking
4.
crowd.
Are you shocked or not?
Hey, right here to my left.
Are you shocked or not?
No, I'm not shocked. I knew that if there was kind of fight.
A fan tweeted that true competitors are always champions, and there is no defeat in the pursuit of genuine glory, thanking and congratulating both Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, while declaring that the warrior spirit was the true winner of the night. A message that reflected deep respect for both men and reminded everyone that greatness lies not only in victory but also in courage and dedication. Bill Haney added that Crawford's dismantling of Canelo looked even easier than his dominant win over Errol Spence, insisting he had predicted such an outcome and using it to underline Crawford's greatness. By making the fight appear effortless against an opponent of Canelo's stature, Bill emphasized that Crawford's ability to break down elite fighters has only grown sharper, with each win looking smoother and more decisive than the last.
Result.
Exactly. And you guys knew what was going to happen. You were in denial. That shit looked easier than Earl Spence. Did it look, huh?
It's a brilliant performance. Brilliant performance.
Man. Shout out to Team Crawford, Bo Mack and that whole team, man. You know what I mean?
Where'd you rank him all-time list after that?
I mean, put his face on Mount Rushmore. You know what I'm saying? He deserves his place, for sure.
Did you score it, Bill?
Yeah, I scored it a lot for Crawford and a very little for Canelo. If any. I don't know.
116, 112?
I don't know. I mean, I could pick
114,
I could pick one or two.
ridiculous.
I could pick one or two in there or something like that.
I know it's straight after the fight. But do you want to see Crawford go out on that, or do you think there'll be a rematch?
No, I don't hear a bunch of partying going on. I listen. It sounds like a funeral home in Allegiant Stadium. Did Crawford win? It sounds like it's a funeral home. Look, you see over there. You see it's quiet. It's quiet as shit. Yeah. Is it a holiday or what? Oh my God! Oh my God! Listen, that's a Crawford fan. He's Mexican. Now, listen. Hey, y'all know what's up. Crawford did it, and only person that's talking is me. November 22nd. If you don't want to hear nothing else, Crawford is great. November 22nd.
A fan tweeted that Crawford is past his prime and older than Canelo, yet still beat him fair and square without catch weights or special conditions, reminding everyone that Canelo lost to a fighter who moved up 3 divisions, leaving no excuses and cementing the victory as one of the greatest achievements in boxing. This reaction echoed the broader consensus among analysts, who emphasized that the fight was never just about belts, but about legacy itself, with the winner destined to be recognized as the greatest of this era. With Crawford's triumph, he firmly claimed that crown, executing a flawless game plan that neutralized Canelo's strengths while showcasing the full range of his skills. The conversation quickly shifted from questioning if Crawford belongs among the greats to deciding where exactly he ranks in boxing history.
You need rehydrate, you need this. No, you don't. If you're actually a man who is willing to, challenge himself and not a little boy who's afraid, then yeah, you can do it. You can absolutely do it. And Terence Crawford did it, and he did it damn well. Credit to Terence Crawford. Absolutely. Honestly, I'm still... Because for me, although I was picking Canelo Alvarez to win this fight, and although I've been a fan of Canelo Alvarez for many, many years, he was one of the main guys who got me into boxing. I have loved Terence Crawford, loved watching him fight for years and years and years. I remember staying up at the time, and I actually made sure to get the HBO feed to get his fight with Victor Postal. And I remember, it wasn't one of his more entertaining fights, but I remember just being just in awe of the skill and ability of Terence Crawford at the time. I remember Bob Arum, they're both run by Top Rank, when people were saying, oh, could Loma fight Terence Crawford? And Bob Arum said that would be suicide. It would have been suicide. Could you imagine? Good Lord. I can't put into words how happy I am to be proven wrong, because I love watching Terence Crawford. I think he is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And it's really fitting, right? And I love Canelo Alvarez, right? But it's really fitting that at the top of boxing, we have 2 of the most honest champions, honest men you could ever see, you could ever imagine. And that being Alexander Usyk and Terence Crawford, 2 friends. And I think they really sum up this era of boxing. If we are coming to the end of it as a whole, I think they really sum it up that if you're dedicated to your profession and you're willing to stay disciplined and you're willing to...
Joe Rogan reacted with passion to the fight, declaring that Crawford had proven himself to be the superior boxer to Canelo, noting that beyond his striking skills, he possesses the mindset and adaptability of a wrestler, which makes him an even more dangerous competitor. Rogan emphasized how extraordinary it was for Crawford to move up in weight and dominate such a formidable challenge, calling it an incredible leap comparable to some of boxing's most historic moments. In his view, Crawford achieved something even greater than what Hagler accomplished, securing his place among the sport's elite through flawless execution and undeniable greatness.
Tadej Majumdar was really good.
Yeah,
he's really fucking good.
But I just think Crawford is, it's weird to say against Canelo, but I think he's the better boxer, and I think he's the guy who can make the better in-fight adjustments if Canelo doesn't kill him.
It's going to be interesting, I'll tell you that.
What do you think?
I don't know. It's a big jump to go from 54, which was a step up from 47, right?
Now
so it goes to 54, and now he's going to 68. That's so much weight.
A lot of weight.
But Terence I think he's the best switch hitter since Hagler.
They claim Hagler was my favorite.
Meanwhile, a user tweeted that Jake Paul mocked Canelo Alvarez with a brutal jab after his loss to Terence Crawford, showing how Paul wasted no time in using the moment to take shots and keep himself relevant by targeting one of boxing's biggest names. In contrast, Roy Jones Jr., one of the greatest fighters in history, declared that Crawford had reached a whole new level of greatness, calling him special and insisting that after such a performance, nobody in this era can compare. Coming from a legend who ruled the sport at its highest level, Roy's praise carried enormous weight, making it clear that Crawford's victory was not just another win, but a defining moment that permanently elevated his place in boxing history.
I felt kind of like they had it. It was a very close fight coming down to the last 2 rounds, but Bud put him out. And he fought very smart. He let Canelo wear himself down early, and then he started fighting late. He was very smart.
Not many people gave Bud a chance, but he dominated in there tonight. Do you see anyone from this era beating Terence Crawford?
No, nobody's gonna beat him. Nobody's gonna beat him.
What makes him so special?
The fact that he fought on both sides, and he's a winner at heart. His heart is everything.
But the scorecard's right. 2 judges gave it to him by 1 round.
Yeah, we talking about fight. I'll tell you what you like. Well, if you like Canelo's aggression, you gave the Bud by like 1 or 2 rounds. But if you like boxing, Bud won by a few more rounds.
What should both guys do next?
What?
What should both guys do next?
I mean, Canelo probably got to go back and decide what he wants to do. Bud, if I were Bud, I would just be tired. Who gonna top what he did?
Jai Opataya admitted that Crawford's victory did not surprise him, explaining that he already understood the depth of determination and potential Crawford brought into the fight. He believed that Crawford's relentless willpower, combined with his elite skill set, made the outcome feel inevitable. Opataya's remarks highlighted how fellow fighters recognized not only Crawford's technical brilliance, but also the mental toughness that proved just as vital as his physical abilities in securing such a historic win.
On points, bro, crazy.
How did you have it?
I had him up, bro, convincingly. Awesome fight. Awesome. Hey, science of the sport. This guy adapts. I knew it.
How did you know he was going to win? Why?
He's got too much ammunition. You know, southpaw, orthodox, on the back foot. That's what changes good from great is knowing how to adapt. You know, back foot, front foot, that's the difference.
Devin Haney said he wants him to retire after that. Do you agree with that?
Devin Haney is Devin Haney. You know, where is he? You know, what's he doing? So,
what do you think of it? Do you want Crawford to retire or you want him to continue?
Hey, he's doing well. It's been good. Hey, what a performance.
Johnny Fisher's reaction reflected what many fans were feeling, questioning why anyone would rush to talk about retiring Crawford after such a brilliant performance. He called the clash a generational great fight and insisted that Crawford still has plenty more to offer. His words struck a chord with audiences who felt they were witnessing history in the making and did not want it to end too soon. Instead of focusing on retirement, Fisher's reaction shifted the conversation toward how much more Crawford could still accomplish in his career.
You don't think he should retire now, Canelo?
No. He's up to him. That's his own personal discretion. He's making millions and millions of dollars, and he will continue to make millions of dollars. He's not been destroyed. He's not concussed. He's just Big John shouting out some of the
Yeah, it's about himself, that man. Devin Haney said he wants to see Terence Crawford retire now. Do you agree?
All the people are saying retire. Why are we trying to retire these great fighters before their time? If they're enjoying it and they're fit to do it, let them continue. Why are we trying to get rid of them? We need them.
A fan tweeted that despite losses to Mayweather and Crawford, Canelo remains one of the sport's best, acknowledging his legacy and greatness even in defeat. Meanwhile, Crawford's journey through the weight classes stands as one of modern boxing's most remarkable feats. Beginning at 135 pounds, he has now dominated 140, 147, and 168, achieving something few have ever done. His ability to move up in weight while retaining speed, precision, and power showcases unparalleled versatility, cementing his place in boxing history and proving that his greatness extends across multiple divisions, not just a single weight class.
Terence Crawford beats Canelo Alvarez by unanimous decision. Terence Crawford does the impossible by becoming the first boxer in history to be undisputed in 3 different weight classes, 140, 147, and 168 pounds. He started out as a 135-pound champion and made it all the way up to 168 pounds, beating the undisputed champion Canelo Alvarez, who's one of the greatest fighters of our generation. Tonight, Terence Crawford looked stronger, looked faster, he looked like he had higher IQ. He was just dominant the whole fight. His natural counterpunching instincts and just fight awareness, fight IQ, he did everything perfect. Like I predicted, Terence Crawford was going to give him problems and Canelo was going to get frustrated, but I didn't think it was going to be that dominant. Every time Canelo threw one punch, Terence Crawford hit him with 3, 4, 5 blistering hard shots. Terence Crawford will go down as one of the top 5 pound-for-pound best fighters in the history of boxing.
Crawford's performance against Canelo will be remembered as a true masterclass, as he dismantled an opponent renowned for strength, timing, and durability with apparent ease. Every round showcased his superior tactics, in-fight adjustments, and precise punching, turning the contest into a display of skill rather than power. By the end, it was clear that Crawford was operating on an entirely different level, and this flawless performance stood as the ultimate statement of his greatness in the sport.
So breaking news, 2 huge fights have been finalized for late 2025, and Errol Spence versus Jermell Charlo in negotiations for early 2026. So the first fight announced is Lamar Roach versus Isaac Pitbull Cruz in December 2025. Roach, he obviously deserved the Tank rematch, but Tank instead he's taking the Jake Paul fight. So Roach, he's gonna stay active and take on Cruz. And who knows, the winner of this fight, it probably should get Tank next. Next fight, Errol Spence versus Jermell Charlo is being negotiated for early 2026. All the details are still being finalized, but both guys making their return after 2.5 years. Charlo since losing to Canelo, Spence since losing to Crawford, and this is a great rebound test for both guys. Next fight, Naoya Inoue versus Alan Picasso for December 27th in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Inoue making his Saudi debut, and that'll be his 4th undisputed fight this year. Obviously, he's got to get past Murjan Akhmadaliev this Sunday, but if he can get past Akhmadaliev, it sets up the Picasso fight in December. Also on the co-main event of the Naoya Inoue card in December will be Junto Nakatani. He'll be making his 122-pound debut against a top contender. And the plan is if both guys win their fights in December, they'll fight next May in Japan for undisputed.
So that's it for today's video. Stay tuned until next time.
That wraps up today's video.